Hi everyone, it's Caroline here from Aussie Cards and Crafts. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a Swingfold card. Now, the Swingfold card that I did earlier today is this one here. It's done with the beautiful Busy Bees collection that is part of my own collection just here. Comes with the dies and the stamps. And the papers are from the very last Papercraft Society box that arrived this week, and it's always great excitement in my house when the Papercraft Society box arrives. Also the sunflower, obviously the basis is the sunflower, is from the box as well. So this is how the card works. As you can see, the operation is very simple. It's called a Swingfold card, and it's because as it swings open, this part comes out. The key part of this is the actual cutting of the apertures and making sure that they are done correctly. So that is what I'm going to take you through today. I'm not going to be using the same papers. I'm going to be doing this for somebody who is a little bit older, so I'm going to be doing a more traditional floral type card. But yeah, so let me get started and go through it with you. So I'll pop this to one side. What you're going to need is you are going to need 2 pieces of card. One will be 6 inches by 12 inches. The other will be the same size, 6 inches by 12 inches. On the first one, okay, so you've got 12 inches there and you've got 6 inches just there. On the first one, I need you to score it at 6 inches, and that's all you need to do. For the second piece, which is once again 6 inches by 12 inches, you need to score it at 3 inches, 6 inches, and then again at 9 inches. Okay, so basically into quarters. The next thing that you need is you are going to need some mats and layers. Now the first mat, and that will be equivalent to this mat here, the gold. I'm going to use the same colour. That one is going to be 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. The pattern paper that I'm using, as you can see, it's a much more traditional pattern paper. This is going to be 5 1/2 by 5 1/2. And inside, I'm also going to put I'm going to put that in there, but I'm also, where you can see through just there, I'm also going to pop one of these in there as well, so that when the card is open, you're actually seeing something rather than it being just nothing. So I've cut 2 of those. So the size for those is, there's 2 of them here. That is 2 3/4 by 5 3/4, and you'll need 2 of those. So that's what you need. You also need a set of nested dies. Now, it doesn't have to be oval. It can be round. It can be square. It can be whatever shape you want. But you do need 5 sizes. Okay, so these are my oval ones, and I'm going to stick with the oval ones again. And I'm going to bring this card in. Now, this is one I did a long time ago, and this one is actually round, as you can see. But if you have a look, and the reason I'm showing you this one is because this one hasn't been decorated. You've got your base card, which we've got there. Then you've got your matte layer. Now your matte layer shows there, and it also shows there. Then you've got your pattern layer, and your pattern layer will be there and also there. So there are actually 5 cuts that you've got to do with your die cutting machine. So the biggest one is going to be on your pattern paper. The next one is going to be on your mat. The third one is going to be on the base of your card, the front of it. And then the 4th and 5th one will be taken out of the mat and the pattern paper that you've already cut. So let me show you how to do that, because there is a trick in actually getting this correct. So I'll pop that to one side. Firstly, with your 6, just basically you're going to have a 6 by 6 card blank. So where you've scored it at 6 inches, that is going to be your card base. So the next thing that we need to do is if you remember I said to you, this is going to be your biggest die cut. So out of your nest of 6, use your biggest one. And it is really, really important that you get this centered. Okay, so I would use a ruler. I wouldn't just go by vision. Now that's 2 centimeters there. That needs to come over just a tad. That's 2. Okay, so when you're happy with where you've got it, and I'm probably going to, yeah, I'll have to move it again because I've got to get some tape off. You need to use some washi tape to hold it in place because it really is important that you do get this in the right spot. Now, I like to take some of the stickiness off of my washi tape because I don't like it to be taking any of the paper off when I take it off. So once again, maybe up just a tad, and I'm happy with it just being there. I'll get another piece, and these can always be used again, this washi tape. It's just I've actually used thrown mine away last time, so I'll pop that just there lightly, and I will then double check to make sure that we are right. So I'll just bring it over just a little bit, and it really is just a minute amount, but it really is. This is the most important one because everything else will basically go from this one. So let's pop that there, and then I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. Okay, so our first aperture has now been cut. So keep that for another cut. Now, we don't need that anymore. That one can go back over there. So there is our first cut. The second one we do is going to be on here. So what we need to do, and I'm just going to move these out of the way. What we now need to do is we now need to line this up to make sure that we have got an even border around. So it's got to be a border of 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And what I tend to do is just put a little bit of tape like so. So we know that that is in the correct spot. The next size down from what you did is this one here. So what we now need to do is we now need to make sure that this is centered with an even border all the way around. And once again, we use washi tape to actually pop this down. Okay, so holding it there. Okay, so unfortunately my phone cut out as I was showing you how to cut this one out. So I think where it left off is I was just actually placing that die on there. So once that one has been cut out, you then will have to do your third one. Now this is the third down, so that is your biggest one, that's your next one. This is the third one down, and to cut this one out, what you need to do is you need to do the same thing. So you need to make sure that your border around your mat is exactly as you want it, and then you need to, let me just have a look, it would be the third one, which would be this one. You then need to make sure that you place, and don't forget that this will actually be in here. Let me just pop that back in there so that you can see. You then need to place this so that you do have that border all the way around and that your borders are actually correct and they're even. Okay, so basically same thing again, tape that on. Okay, so lift the corner of that, tape that on, lift the corner here while you're still holding it and tape it on, and then run that through your die cutting machine. Okay, now because I had problems with my phone, obviously this has already been done, so we get to there. So we've got the 3 pieces now. We've got our pattern piece that goes on the top. We've got our mat, and we've got that piece there. Okay, and when I've lined them all up, they're going to look absolutely gorgeous. The other pieces that you would have had a big piece of gold that you cut out from this here. So the next one down, so it will be the next to smallest, you need to cut just another oval out of that piece of gold, because that is actually going to be there. And then your smallest one, when you had that, and I don't know whether I've got the piece that came out. Let me have a look. Yes, I think I might. Okay, so that was how, when you took that piece out, that was all covered in. Okay, like so. So now what you need to do, just to ensure that we've got the continuity of this pattern, it's a good idea that you take this piece that, normally speaking, it won't have been cut already. Technology is not always my friend, so you'll learn that quite easily, quite quickly when you're watching my tutorials. But basically you take your smallest one, and then you need to line it up as much as you possibly can so that you've got an even border, and that is going to ensure that the continuity of your pattern is going to be on this piece here from that piece there. Okay, so I did that, and I now have that piece. So I'll pop these ones away again. So what we now need to do is we now need to get our next piece, and our next piece is going to be, I'm going to put this back in because I want to show you how to do it. As you can see, this was another piece that I had already done before I realised that the phone wasn't working properly. So I'm just going to pop that back in. What you need to do is you're going to have your second piece, which is scored at 3, 6 and 9, and your first one is going to be a valley fold, your second one is going to be a mountain fold, and your third one is going to be a mountain fold as well. Now on this last section where this last mountain fold is, what you need to do is you need to get your ruler and pencil and mark in 1/2 of an inch there and 1/2 of an inch there. Join the line up just to that very first score line, and do the same at the bottom as well. So it's a 1/2 inch there, 1/2 inch there, and join the line up. Then what you do is you need to cut down that line, across this score line, and down that line, and that is what you will be left with. Okay, so I'm sorry that you didn't actually get to see me do it, but I think it's quite self-explanatory. So now what we do, and this was where I was actually up to when I realised that my phone wasn't working. Yeah, it's still working now, thank goodness. Okay, so what we need to do, a couple of things. Firstly, I'm going to attach this here. So don't forget, you've got your 2 tabs there. This bit here, I'm going to put glue on, and I am going to attach that in there. Okay, so making sure that these 2 ends meet. Okay, so that they should be exactly the same size, and you then, let's take the tape off of that, you can then just push that down and wait for that to dry. Next, what we're going to do, and what I tend to do, and you'll see the little pieces here where I actually did it, I cut probably about a 1/16 of an inch off of both of these tabs, and I just find it fits better with the folding. So the next thing that you need to do, in fact, before you do that, what I was talking about before is the inside of the card. And when we open this card up, you can actually see this section here. So what I like to do is actually use one of these, and I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to place that there. Okay, so this is one of the ones that I told you about when I first gave you the measurements. Entirely up to you whether you want to put one here as well, but I don't find it's really needs it. This is a piece 5 3/4 by 2 3/4, and it just goes there so that when we have that when we have that there and we're opening it and the card is open, you can actually see something in there. What we do now is we fold this down. So we've got this attached here. Okay, we've got that in there. We then fold it over. So we've got a double thickness there. And just on these 2 tabs where you've cut down, you just pop the glue. Okay, just like so. And then all you do is you close your card. Okay, making sure that those tabs do not stick out past your the edge of your card, and you will see that because they're only 1/2 inch, they're not going to show in this aperture just here. Okay, so we'll just, while that is drying, what I'll do is another little bit of gluing. I'm going to glue this onto here. Next, what we need to do, we'll pop that aside. Next, what we need to do is we need to put our mat on. Now, when we put our mat on, we've got to make sure that our borders around the outside are correct and also the inside. And this is why it was really important to cut these out correctly in the first place. So I'm just going to use some glue once again. And you'll see that there is a border there and a border there, and they're the same size. Okay, so it is an easy card to make, but you've just got to be a little bit careful how you cut your apertures out in the first place. So the next one is going to go down here. So once again, we glue that on. And there we go. You can already see the way the card is already coming together. Now what we do is this piece here, we stick that on here. Now making sure that once again our borders around here are correct. Okay, so that needs to be stuck there. So you do have a little bit of a gap. So if I can just use my pencil, just between there and there is a gap that you don't put glue on. So when you're putting your glue, I always find it best to put it on here, but make sure you don't go too close to the edge of that aperture. Okay, so glue there, and then we take and once again making sure it's nice and even within those and there we have our card. The only other thing that I will do is I will actually pop that on there. And there we have the bases of the card. The next thing that I'm going to do is to decorate it, and I'm going to go through. I don't normally use a lot of flowers in my decorations. I usually use other things, but because this is for a person of a more senior age, I'm going to use these. So I'm just going to roughly place these. These are just die cut leaves, and I've done that with the same card that I used for the borders here. So I'm just going to arrange them. Now, when you're doing this, just be careful because you cannot impede the mechanism around here. So you can go over this side because that will come up. But if you have got something on, okay, so I'm still having trouble with my phone, but we're nearly finished. So I'm hoping that this will go. If it doesn't, it is basically just a case of decorating this. But what I was saying is you can put things that will go over that way, but you can't put things here, because otherwise, if you stick them right on the edge there, you're going to impede this opening up and swinging through. So everything has to be before that gold part just there. The rest of it can go over if it's on this side. So I'm just going to go ahead and decorate this. All I've done with those is I've just put some glue on and dipped it into a pot of glitter. So it gives a bit of glitter for this particular card. So okay, so I really am having a lot of trouble with my phone today. So I've gone ahead and decorated this off camera, and you can now see what I meant by the fact that these bits here can actually go over the edge, but these ones here can't go past that that gold part there, otherwise it won't open. I'm going to put a happy birthday either there or there, or even maybe just there, I'm not quite sure. But there's the card. I think it's come out really well. There's my Busy Bee one just there. Very, very happy with it. Yeah, I'm not happy with my phone, but I'm happy with this. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please give me a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it, and maybe subscribe to the channel. If you want some more inspiration, please head over to our Facebook site, which is Aussie Cards and Crafts on Facebook. If you're not already a member, just put a request in, and we'll be happy to have you on board. And there are some very, very, very talented people there. So we look forward to hopefully seeing some of your work on there as well. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.